In this video clip, we're going to talk about the pinked seam finish. Once the seam has been sewn, you're going to want to apply some kind of a seam finish to prevent the seam from fraying and to extend the longevity of your project. For lightweight cottons or wovens, a pinked seam finish is ample. In order to apply a pinked seam finish, there are 3 steps. Once the seam is sewn, before the seam is pressed open, you're going to use a pinking shears and trim away the very edge of both seam finishes. Now, a pinked finish at this point is still a cut finish, so there is the possibility that it will fray. So the next step with a pinked finish is to press the seam open and flat. Once it's open and flat, you're going to work 1 seam allowance at a time, set your machine's straight stitch length to 2 to sew a reinforcing stitch, and then down each seam allowance you're going to stitch halfway between the pinked cut edge and the seam. Backstitch beginning and end, and once one side has been completed, flip it, expose the other seam allowance, and repeat the process. Once you've sewn the reinforcing stitch down each seam allowance, then you'll want to press the seam again to get the stitching to relax so that the seam allowances and the seam lie perfectly flat.